Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. We can't do that without a quorum, so there's no point in going through that exercise. There's no possible extension or abandonment of applications according to the town code. We have no public hearings, but we do have items for discussion and action. And the first one on the list here tonight is 114 Hartley Road, Bass 12-1-2.3, which is a continuation of our previous meeting. Do we have?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good evening, Alec Glad from Cuddy and Fader. Terrence Nolan from New Leaf is on the way and will probably walk in any minute. So just quick review, this is a proposal for 2 battery energy storage systems on the Town Enterprises property in the battery storage overlay district. Access from the property will come from Hartley Road along the existing drive aisle, and the 2 battery facilities will be located behind the existing commercial buildings on the site. So just a brief refresher, we were here in June, on June 17th, and the main request of the board was to see, is there anything that can be done with the orientation or the lines on the site to try to minimize or reduce the variances that we need. So after that meeting, we did go back and we met with the property owner, and we were able to eliminate 2 of the variances, 1 for each of the facilities. So one of the variances that we had required but don't need anymore is a front yard variance for the space in between the red facility, and then the pink, or the purple, is the new lot line. So we were able to adjust the lot line to make it compliant with the zoning district requirements, so we got rid of 2 variances. But we still do need 4 variances, which is 2 for each. One is the frontage variance. Obviously, we don't have any frontage on Hartley Road, but the existing access for the commercial business is sufficient for the site, so we need 100% variance from that. And then the other variance that we still require, which we weren't able to do anything about either, is the internal side yard setback between the 2 systems. So we wanted to provide this map specifically because I think it helps show how much is going on the property, to show why we can't kind of push these facilities away from each other in order to reduce the degree of variance. And we actually had ended up moving the facility closer to this side lot line because something that we weren't considering before is the owner wants to maintain this material storage area here. Also, there's an existing septic field, there's salt sheds, there's more material storage here, fuel in the existing drive aisles. So we're not able to place the facility anywhere else in this existing developed area because it will or would start to interfere with the operations of the site, which they wanted to avoid. And then just to look at the property overall, you can see that a lot of it is already developed. But then in the areas that aren't developed, it's hard to see on this map, but it's on the site use permit set that we had also provided. This is all wetlands, wetland buffers, streams. So there are other environmental features that we wouldn't want to go into or disturb in order to avoid the need for the variances. Instead, we're tucking it up, behind the buildings, on the northwest corner of the property, near the wooded buffer.
Are there any discussions about,
Can I just ask the applicant to move the presentation closer? Perfect, thank you.
Okay.
given that there's no road frontage and the only access is through, and I know it's the same owner for both properties, you guys are just leasing, but
Yes.
do you know if there have been discussions about a right-of-way or something dedicated that provides access for the future? Because theoretically, these properties could be sold, and now there's no access that's...
Correct. Yep, so our lease with the underlying property owner does have a reserved right of way, so it doesn't matter who owns the property, we will always have access to the site.
But that only runs with the lease, right?
Yes, so we have a long-term 20-year lease, yeah, Terrence Nolan.
We'll also record it,
Just to make sure.
Terrence Nolan, with New Leaf Energy. We'll be recording an access easement, which will be a permanent easement
Okay.
on record.
Yep. And something that's been discussed with the planning board too, just add a little more color, is just helping delineate on-site those access points. So we're working through that with the planning board also.
Okay.
So that's clearly marked and that nothing's blocked by the existing business, trucks on site or anything like that.
It feels to me that these changes are pretty substantial and helpful.
Yeah, very,
To me.
very much.
So, but we don't have our full board, so we're gonna, where do you wanna go with this, Roy? What do you?
I would put it on our next, meeting date. And, you know, I don't, if you're available, obviously I would like you to be here, but we can take action without you present. I know that your request initially, and I just reread your email, was to potentially go to a public hearing, but there may be a joint public hearing, so.
Right, yeah,
you
that's
want-
something we were hoping to just kind of discuss a little more. So the planning board had requested a joint hearing, and I know we had done that on prior solar
Mhm.
facilities. We did it on some, but not others. So I
Yep.
guess we just wanted to talk about maybe coordinating
Yeah.
that more.
I think then I need to get on a call with you
Okay.
and new counsel for the planning board, which I haven't had an opportunity to do as we discussed, but, I mean, I think that's ideal.
Do
Just
we,
re-
since the planning board's lead agency?
Yeah, we generally join them.
But do we need to take action to say, to vote this if that
Well-
happens, or do we just?
Yeah,
join
we
it?
would ultimately vote to do a joint public hearing after discussing with them. I mean, obviously, we can't both vote at the same time, so someone says it first, but it's generally understood.
Okay,
But we would also have to kind of accommodate to make sure the dates work. So we look at maybe, you know, you're talking about October earliest anyway, and then October the earliest for us to even schedule it. I guess you can pre-schedule it in anticipation of secret, but I don't.
Yeah, we,
That's a danger.
I know, we might wrap up secret in October, so I think a realistic timeline for a hearing would be sometime in November.
okay,
So if we-
we're not the impediment here.
No, not at all, no. Other than the rest of the board not being able to inquire of council at this time, but I think that the adjustments speak for themselves, so that's good. We could table this, and then once me, you, and planning board get discussing it, we could put it back on sometime early October when you have a clearer picture of the secret timeline, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think
I
that
mean-
works. Yeah, we hope to submit to the planning board again either end of this month or very beginning of October,
Sure.
and be back in front of them.
Okay, so yeah, I mean,
That's good, I just don't wanna, I know we're shorthanded tonight, I don't want that to be the,
No, it's, I think if we were not gonna do a joint public hearing, then we would have been an impediment not being able to vote, but it sounds like, that makes the most sense, cause then you're getting to hear all the questions, from everybody at once, and
yeah,
all the public has one meeting to go to also.
Yeah.
That's good.
no, I'm
All
fine
right.
with that.
So we'll talk, I mean, we'll just, you keep me posted, I'll talk to you before,
Yeah.
keep me posted on any timelines or whatever.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, gentlemen,
Okay,
nice to see you,
thank you.
thank you all. Take care, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right. So the next item on the agenda, you don't have any word from James, right?
No, nothing. I sent him a message back, just updating him that we opened up, but
Okay. He's driving, so he must be getting it. The next item is 6.5 Station Road, or 10, 6.5 Station Road, 12-1-8.3, which is initial presentation. The parcel currently contains an existing 30,000 square foot warehouse and 7,366 square foot of office space. The proposed project is an 8,680 square foot addition to the front of the building. The additional building proposal will cause the building's footprint to be 47,906 square feet, exceeding the maximum of 40,000. Therefore, an area variance will be required for the overage.
Good evening, Steve Esposito, Engineering Properties, and we're here representing 6.5 Station Road LLC for a proposed extension to their existing warehouse. It's Orange Hollow. We went through the numbers. We're gonna be a little 7,000 square feet. The yellow highlighted area is sort of the infill addition that they're proposing. We're all familiar with the site. I mean, it's in the commercial zone. You know, we've got the food guys across the street, the tractor guys, Healy, Royal line down the street. So, you know, what we're requesting is relief from the 40,000 square foot building footprint that's dictated by section 9714A. And again, they're successful, they're busting at the seams, and they would, you know, they're very much like to move forward with this, with the addition, but we will need relief from this board to do so. This is an area variance, it's an unlisted action, so with regards to seeker, it's not gonna be a coordinated review with the planning board. Ultimately, we'll have to go back for an amended site plan, but this board could actually make its own secret determination, so we can avoid the back and forth between the two boards. Again, we're gonna request you to consider scheduling a public hearing for this application, and also consider you taking lead agency for the area variance, and so we can make a secret determination.
Okay. And it's just office addition, it's not more warehouse space, right? It's offices, is that?
Offices, yeah.
As I read it. And it looked to me, that whole area is already paved and impervious, right? So we're not increasing the impervious surfaces in that neighborhood?
Correct. If you remember, this was where the pool was, and the patios, and all that stuff, so that most of that, obviously the pool has been removed, but it's still impervious, so we're not gonna increase the impervious surface. They don't anticipate any increase in traffic, it's really just an expansion and maybe a couple of extra employees, but, you know, nothing of substance.
And it looked to me when I was looking at the plans, is there additional blacktop over in the blacktop area, or has that already been completed on the right side of it? Yeah, where the tennis courts and all that used to be.
Yeah, so this is paved tennis court to be overlaid, but it's gonna be, that's still where the tennis courts were, but they'll ultimately overlay that, you know, as part of the site plan
Yeah.
improvements.
Okay. No, I don't see it. So again, I think we can take no action, but maybe the next meeting we set a public hearing.
Yeah, I think we put them on the agenda for the next meeting. And I'll poll the group before the meeting just to see if there's anybody that, I know you're local, but I don't know what your schedule is 2 weeks from tonight, if you're able to come back.
For you, Rory, I'll make myself available.
I don't have a vote.
What a son.
Rob, for you, I'll make myself available.
But I know we're gonna run this back with the next project, so it makes sense for both of them to be back on. You'd be here
Sure.
to answer some people's questions, and then we can put it on for a public hearing.
Okay.
And you said in the beginning, you were indicating you wanted to have two bodies operate separately for the purposes of moving this along?
Yes.
Okay.
Purpose for secret. So.
And we can take lead agency on secret?
Yeah, it's not that it's non-traditional, it's not that, there's
Yeah, we
reasons
haven't
for
done
it,
that
which I'm aware. That's fine, it doesn't make much of a difference to me personally, usually coordinate with the planning board, but it's our decision if we want to declare lead agency. So we need a group
We need
to hear that, to make that declaration. That would be, I think that should be put into the, make a note of this if you don't mind, I think that should be put into the agenda, the way it's written out, because it's something that, it's not just the area variance, but it's not uncommon for us to be lead agency, but when they're both operating at the same time, sometimes it's done differently, but
Yeah.
I can explain that to you.
Okay, so.
So, yeah, if you guys are good, we'll adjourn that to the date again?
September 16th.
September
All right,
16th.
That's the only thing on the agenda as of right now, which means that the only things that would pop up besides that would be another application. And I don't know, Frank, if you see anything in the pipeline that's gonna?
No.
Okay, so it should be just you guys on that, and then the next project.
Sorry, we couldn't move along faster for you.
And we do pretty good with two guys, two
I know.
members, that's it, they will move right along.
We don't need anybody else.
Okay, Bob, I'm here an hour. Can you ask a couple more questions?
All right, so the next The next item on the agenda is Ontaroga 2-1-21.2, also initial presentation. The parcel currently contains an existing mansion that has a floor area of 10,830 square feet. The dwelling is a pre-existing structure which exceeds the maximum 5,000 square foot area of the code. An area variance is being requested granting relief to exceed the 5,000 square foot maximum threshold of a small-scale business usually defined in 97-18C of the zoning code. Use, not usually, use as defined. So,
All right,
and you're,
Steve Esposito, Engineering Properties, here for, which I love, Goshen Mansion on the Hill, LLC. Vedantis, also Lindsay Jeff DeGraw, architect. Just so this site is in the RU zone, in 9718C. It permits for small-scale businesses to either adaptively reuse existing structures or build a new structure. The site is 141 acres. Most of it's wetlands in the back. This is roughly where the existing structure is now. This is the dollhouse. The existing drive comes up through here, which will be abandoned, and we'll have new drives going in. There's just, so we're looking to, go under a special use permit as a service, small-scale service business. The zoning board of appeals, this zoning board of appeals back in December of 2019, there was a decision made that event space catering is a service business. So I think we're safe there. In the adaptive reuse of existing structures, it's permitted where there's some criteria that the site has to meet. One is the structure has to be in place prior to 2004, which this one is. We're significantly modified the exterior of the building. You'll see and just going to run through the plans real quick, but it's still going to existing. We're going to keep the architecture of the building and just expand on that. So we think that we're pretty good there. The one that gets us is the 5,000 square feet, obviously. We do have road frontage on 207, State Highway 207, so we meet that criteria. And then I also supplied some photographs from 207 because one of the key pieces was more of a site plan review, but is that it's got to be able to be screened from public roadways, and we think this site achieves that extremely well. So we don't think that's going to be an issue. The history of this, actually I have quite a history of this, but we go back to 1989. There was a use, and again, given that the size of the structure back in the late 80s, the family had it, the Griffiths had it for sale for years and years and years. And this board, granted a use variance to allow to be converted to a corporate headquarters. And they functioned there for quite some time. And then in 1996, Dr. Pasquale purchased it. She moved her medical office up there and rehabilitation center, and she was there for years. Both of those use variances have since lapsed, but it does have a history of being commercial, and acknowledged from the town as well as being commercial. So in this particular case on SECRA, we had them before the planning board. They did declare their intent to be lead agency. The NOI was sent out to interested involved agencies. They have not acknowledged lead agency status yet, but we're going to request that they do that at their next meeting. It's just an administrative step in the process, because this will require a coordinated review. We get the DEC, the health department, and DOT, so it's a little bit different than the previous application we had. So we'll be doing a little back and forth between the two boards. But we thought that given oh, did I mention we were going to redo the dollhouse also?
I think you did, yeah.
Okay. So in light of the scale of this, we thought that we want to get out in front of your board to get your input and feelings, in terms of the proposed project, and then we can get some level of comfort so we can move forward with the planning board, and site plan review.
Just to refresh your recollection, you had a question that you proposed about?
Yeah, since the 5,000 square foot restriction was imposed by this board, I think there may be some,
Oh, no, not
So
that
we're
question,
talking-
I have that answer for you.
okay.
In the initial presentation,
about the.
just if you could generalize what is, not different, but what maybe updates, just off of the last presentation, because there was a big tent or proposed structure
Yeah, so
wise.
there's, again, since the.
Are you looking at this as fresh, like
This
this
is
is an
like,
initial
for us,
application,
this
like,
is a fresh new
okay,
application.
so lose all that?
Yeah. Since then, you know, the applicant owner purchased the property, cleaned the place up, took all this, you know, bushes and overgrown stuff down, cleaned out the structure. There was initially proposed to have a seasonal tent, about 150 seats. They've gone away from that direction and really gonna go true construction. There'll be 2 event spaces, one for 160 seats and the other one for 300 seats. That's 16 one-bedroom guest rooms, be 8 and 8, because it's like 2 wings. So this would be the existing wing with expansion, and this would be all brand-new construction. We're gonna renovate the dollhouse. We'll also have, you know, planned as part of this venue is gardens, walkways, you know, paths, that type of stuff. Parking associated, you know, stormwater. This will be what's called a transient water supply, so that's a Orange County Health Department approval in addition to the planning board's approval. The wastewater will exceed 1,000 gallons a day in discharge, so that's a DEC involvement. We've already done soil tests in the back, and we found some favorable soils for that. We've been, you know, analyzing the site, you know, for a while now. So I think, you know, in terms of just the nuts and bolts, we're very comfortable with it. It's really the, you know, the need for relief from the 5,000 square feet.
Can we get questions?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this map here. So there's another applicant 6 years ago that tried to develop this. So what happened to all the frontage where the dollhouse is? Is that someone else's property now? I'm seeing another,
So
retail.
these are, in part, when I say 141 acres, that's the overall site, which includes, there's 3 tax parcels here, in addition to the large tax parcel.
Right.
Currently owned by the applicant. These were pre-approved lots.
So this is not owned by the applicant no more, it's
Well,
owned by
they are.
another individual?
Owned by the applicant, yeah.
Okay, because I just saw the property line looked like it was sectioned off by a
Well-
different realtor, a different holding, which is Beach Road Real Estate.
That's this one here. So this is where the Entourage
Yeah.
restaurant
I'm
was,
familiar with
the old
it.
Italian
Yeah.
group. That's that, so.
All right, so is the property line, this line right here?
Yeah, so it's really, we didn't include these 2 lots in this application,
So these are 2 separate lots that the applicant
Oh,
owns these 2 frontage.
Correct.
All right, so I don't want to know.
Yep.
Because there was an issue on the last applicant in that area.
yeah.
And this is probably more of a,
Yeah, the only thing that was the unknown, we didn't know about the other applicant.
Yeah.
What they wanted to do with it.
and how many parking spaces are associated with it?
I see a lot more.
We have spaces provided, 196.
Oh, nice.
And, well, what if both venues are operating at the same time? You're looking at 460 people.
Right, so
That seems like it's not enough.
so, you know, we will, as part of the, you know, site plan review is, you know, we'll provide a parking analysis. You know, we think that a lot of it's gonna be shared. We're not gonna have, you know, you're not gonna have, everybody's gonna come individually. A lot of, you know, and Franco could even talk about this more, but I know with venues like this that we're involved with, a lot of it's transportation provided. Most people are staying in hotels and they're getting bused back and forth for safety purposes, and, which is not a bad thing.
But we don't know that though.
But we brought that up the last time, right, with, you know, your property out here on Scotchtown Avenue,
That is correct.
really inadequate parking even for a wedding.
That's correct.
So I wanna make sure we avoid that, and that kind of plays into the square footage thing for us, right? If the site can't provide enough parking, then we have to consider whether,
Yeah, but he has a lot of property on from either side. He can have
Yeah, no, exactly, that's my,
This here with this employees, they can park over there.
but, yeah, that's my point, there could be
Yeah, yeah.
auxiliary parking or something like that. I wanna make sure that we're upfront about that concern, because everybody
What
seems to
is,
share
what has the
that.
planning board said about that, Steve?
We haven't really gotten into it, you know,
Yeah, okay.
we made the presentation, it was obviously a question that came up, you know, we were prepared to deal with it. You know, the code actually requires, I think, 196, and we're like 199, whatever,
Yeah.
so we're compliant.
Oh.
But there is a practicality, I get it, and, you know, Franco understands that. So, you know, we're looking at, you know, this is actually gonna be a new road, service road, so we're gonna, you know, we see that there's opportunities for, you know, overflow parking, so, and that'll all be on paper.
I know I'm asking you to predict the future, but do you anticipate any other variances coming up as the process goes along? Because it's a big project, so I'm imagining planning board's gonna be lengthy.
Yes,
Navigation.
no, we think that, you know, interestingly, you know, this service, small scale service, there isn't really like a lot of bulk requirements that comes along with that. The criteria that I read down, you know, existence, you know, when a house, the structure was built,
Yep.
state frontage, those, you know, half a dozen items, you know, we think we meet, without a problem. And, you know, just given the setbacks, you know, there's not a problem for us. We've got 141 acres to like make it work.
So this is what, another wedding and conference venue type construction? Is that why the expansion is?
Yes.
There's not gonna be anything outdoor on this, so.
There is going to be a ceremony area only for strictly ceremonies. It's not exterior, so.
No entertainment.
No, just for, you know, for ceremonies.
That's gonna be a condition.
And just to let you know, Bob, that's this piece right here, so it's actually between the two structures. And then this is all woods and,
Yeah,
but, and we, you know, we could
Yeah,
do.
we're familiar with it.
Yes, so we, you know, we could do, you know, a condition, you know, that's for ceremonies only.
So like that outdoor ceremony space is actually starting to go on the back side of that,
Yeah.
this knoll here, right?
Yeah.
So that's good, because then
Yeah.
any sound or anything
Right,
goes
the
this
other one
way.
was in the front.
Yeah,
Right, so this is actually gonna be higher, so, you know, you've got a little bit of bounce from
Yeah.
207. And then these two structures will, you know, keep it from going, you know, east to west.
See, in this area, sounds will carry about a mile. Okay, so that was a concern on another applicant. I mean, I've been around when the Pasquale was developing this, with
Me
you.
too.
We're old timers, you know, so we've seen two different developments here. Now this will be the third. Okay.
Hopefully the last, right?
Yeah, the last.
I mean, it's a unique property, and there's opportunities that
So
are
much-
presented by it, so it's
It's exciting, it's, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's long overdue.
well, what do you think?
We're in the same boat as the last project, last application. I just think we move it to the
So,
2 Tuesdays from now with the intention of, there may be more questions because of the
Yeah,
size of the
totally.
project and whatnot, but hopefully everybody watches the video and they can follow them along ahead of time, so it can either be addressed or prepared to be addressed, and we can set it for public hearing, get these guys going. This particular project, we may be held up by the planning board secret process though for a public hearing,
Yeah.
so that's kinda, I still think we put it on the agenda, you're gonna be
Yeah, we'd
here,
like to
no,
keep
no
put on the
reason not
agenda
to.
so we can keep
That-
moving, get other board
Sure.
members' input or answer any questions they may have.
But that'd be the only, that might be the difference in the procedurally, the way the two projects are trending,
Got it.
so.
Yeah, because this is a coordinated review, so.
so this is very impressive. So this is it. Nothing else is gonna be built down the road in the back or anything like that. This is the,
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is it structure-wise, but, you know, we're gonna, you know, paths and gardens and, you know, photo op, you know, location and stuff like that.
I mean, it's hard for me to imagine where the new entryway, what does that do to the screening? Because the current one kind of goes up and goes behind a row of trees that exists there. Is that, there gonna be
So-
some changing to the screening that you're anticipating?
Yeah, so the parking lot, which is one of the key things that's gotta be screened, just topographically,
Yeah.
it's screened. So you have two
Yeah.
things that are going topographically up here, but right here is a big knoll.
Yep.
So literally, you can't, either direction, you can't see, you can barely see the house. You know, it's only from like down here at the entrance where you can see the existing structure. But we think that, you know, just topographically, you're not gonna see the parking. And of course, this
Well,
is
if it's gonna look like that, I think cut down the trees, we wanna see that mansion. You know? I mean, seriously,
Yeah,
that is
the
very
park.
impressive.
it's a mansion on the hill.
But I know the applicant, when he does something, he does it first class, you know?
So, and Jeff's, our architect's with us, and you wanna run through the drawings? Or you wanna
Sure,
say-
since we're here, right, let's talk about it.
Wow, this is something else, huh?
Looks better when you get a big picture too.
Yeah, you got a lot of nice flowers there, you did a good job.
You know, if you put enough hydrangea in front, everybody knows it.
It's like a southern mansion that would play golf at.
Yeah, so I think, so first of all, I'm Jeff DeGraw, DeGraw and DeHaan Architects. We've been practicing in Orange County for the last almost 40 years. One of the projects we did was Glenmere, so we're sort of familiar with this type of project to take one of these old mansions and turning it into a hospitality spot. So I think for us, with, you know, always being a resident of Orange County, the idea is make it look like it's always been here. You know, that's kind of been our motto. So respect the architecture, it's incredible architecture, we don't need to really stray from what it is. So it's really just adding on to the building, you know, fitting in the spaces where we need, you know, kind of a ballroom for a bigger dining party. Here, we're sort of recreating the kind of columned, almost temple structure that's at the end of the building, and what you see quite a bit around Goshen too. You know, there's that recurring form. So I think, you know, we're trying to keep it residential in nature, make it feel like a big estate, you know, that could have been here forever. And it's kind of simple from our vantage point. It's just respect what's here and just add on to it. So, you know, we've got different views of it. We have videos of it, if we could share that with you next time. So we've got the whole thing, we can show it all digitally, really to give a great sense of it. One of the things that we're working on, you know, just as this is going through, as we're extending on to the second space, we're trying to figure out the kind of the right sense of what that is. So we have updated drawings that are gonna come from it too, because what we're really trying to do is extend this sort of, the house further, you know, in it. So it'll change up a little bit from what you've got, but it's basically, it's come along good. So we wanna add a big front porch onto it, because there's that amazing view from the top. And that's really kind of the whole thing. So, any questions on it?
You wanna just run the rest of them up just for the
Just
camera?
so you have it,
And then
sure.
we can line you up with a way to get on the TVs for the next time.
Yeah, so this is kind of a view from the approach, so that as you're coming up to the hill, the existing building stops right about here. So that temple form that was here, we're kind of putting up to the front, and this would be the ballroom that would extend onto it here. So I think that would be, with all the windows, it would be a stunning view, you know, out towards the mountains. So that gives you that approach view.
Before you leave that one, I
Yeah.
know with the parking and all that, you guys talked at great length about, you know, sky-friendly lighting, such, with all those windows, is that, you know, like the light pollution from that, is that gonna be, that's a lot. It's a big space to light up and.
Huh, that's a good question. And we can address that. I mean, I would think for the most part, you're gonna have these, will be evening time events, and the lighting's gonna be pretty dim. You know, so I really wouldn't expect much out of it, but we could certainly do a light study on it,
You
to make
just,
sure.
or just to think about it.
Yep.
I'm not, I
Yeah.
don't wanna.
You know, the architect might be a little optimistic too. Might be not that many windows, but we'll try, you know? So this is a view from kind of the tail end of the building. So this is all sort of existing in here. All this is really existing. So we're really just wrapping this porch around it and extending the structure out. So it's kind of trying to keep what's there and then just add to it a little bit. You have a concerned look. Is there a question on that?
I'm very familiar with this building, because I've been there many, many times. Just, you know, it's just, really looks good.
Yeah,
Like
and then
like the flowers.
this is So there's the, kind of seeing the existing building, and then this was just to let you know, if we can at the next meeting, we'd probably update this. This is where we're starting to add on to, we actually have a much better version of what's happening here, where it looks much more like the existing house. So it's a developing process, honestly, for us. But we really just want to see big picture, do you like the look of it and the feel of it is a good addition. So that's kind of what the big picture, what we want to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's a unique property, and there's a lot of opportunity there, if we can
Yeah,
figure it out.
yeah. It's a beautiful building. It's been neglected for many years.
So, again,
Yeah, I think we got a game plan, so.
so we'll put this on the agenda for the 16th,
Yeah,
continue this,
yeah.
and then we'll have to line up with the planning board and see how this moves forward faster.
All right, thanks for.
Let's just, Steve, I'll hop on, why don't we get Lino on the call and kind of catch us all up?
Yeah.
And I was kind of giving him time to.
Segue.
Like, get up to speed on the projects that have been going. I know, not that this hasn't, but in the grand scheme, it's on the shorter end than the other stuff. So I didn't bother him with this yet, so why don't we link up on the call for both projects?
That'd be actually, especially this one.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want to step forward.
Public knowledge, does the applicant own this building? All right, so the other applicant did not own the building, she was.
Oh, yeah,
years
no,
ago.
no, right,
That was,
right.
she did not own the, right, okay,
Quite a different
big difference.
project, so motion to
Okay, I guess take a motion to adjourn.